All right, everybody. Now we are on to the top 4 for PCS Trophy qualifier number 7. Again, this is the last actual qualifier that you can just register for online. The very last chance will be next week, where the top 16 in points from all of the qualifiers thus far will go head-to-head in a single elimination bracket, with the top 2 getting the last 2 spots in the Grand Championship come the 21st and 22nd of August. So super excited to finally have that week coming on us. Oh my God, that tournament is going to be absolute fire. But until then, we have the top 4 of the 7th qualifier, Molotov versus Godhawk. Molotov is 22 from Spain and has plenty of tournament experience, winning 2 previous ESL Spains. Godhawk, on the other hand, 26 years old from Russia and has lots of tournament experience, but has unfortunately missed out just barely in a lot of instances from first place. So we'll see if Godhawk is able to advance here and possibly take home his first tournament victory. So Molotov, as we went over in the last video, is playing mid-range Frostbite as well as a deep deck, and to round things out, a Karma Ezreal deck. Godhawk, same exact lineup. We have a straight up mirror match all across the board. Ashe Sejuani, Nautilus Maokai, and the Karma Ezreal. So without further ado, top 4 PCS qualifier number 7 coming right up. Usually there's not one inherent weakness that I can think of with mid-range Frostbite. There are obviously some worse matchups, but generally speaking, it can win almost every matchup it comes upon.
Pretty much, and we're seeing a lot of players actually return to the older style of the deck. We're not seeing as much Reckless Trifarian. We're not seeing as much Kato the Arm. Molotov is actually running sort of the older version. No Katos, Molotov is running Kato and Reckless Trifarian. The other player is not, whose name is escaping me. Godhawk. Is not Kato or Reckless Trifarian. And I feel like one of the reasons that we've seen the Frostbite midrange get banned so much is that perceivably it has a good Karma Ezreal matchup, right? If you look through all of the tournament footage from the last 2 weeks, it's actually very difficult to find a match where the Frostbite midrange beats Karma Ezreal. Karma Ezreal is actually winning that matchup a lot more often than it's not. But on paper, it doesn't look like it should be, and even the games that it wins, they look very close. But historically, we're seeing the Karma Ezreal pull out that win, and I don't know if players have really caught on to that adaptation yet, or if it feels like you got lucky every time that you do it.
Yeah, we do see game 1 here finally getting off to a start, and we have the Karma, again, like we said, both mid-range Frostbites are banned, so we do have the Karma Ez versus what looks like the Karma Ez. And God, I love starting off with mirror matches. It's just so fantastic to start off with mirror matches. Let's go. I'm hyped. Let's get it.
So let's talk about the differences in these lists, right? Godhawk is not running Mina Swiftfoot. Let's start there.
Okay.
Is running that one of Yone. 1 copy of Claws of the Dragon for Godhawk, 0 copies for Molotov. Why do you think we've seen this card hyper fall off?
The Claws of the Dragon?
Yeah.
Man, I gotta say, that's a really hard question. Maybe, all right, actually, no. I have a pretty easy answer. I would say, generally speaking, because there's less burn and aggro. I think that card was for, staving off some of the earlier aggression with some of the 3, Boom Crew rookies it trades with really well. Just random smaller units that are trying to be aggressive and get through that damage early on. We don't see that as much. If anything, there's Bannerman, and there's better options to deal with Bannerman than a Claws of the Dragon. So I think that's why I think burn and aggro falling off. Bye-bye, Claws of the Dragon.
Yeah, and I felt like the Karma Ezreal lists were kind of settled, but so far, Molotov and Godhawk have both made a return to the Double Get Excited, as well as both of them are running Will of Ionia. And over the last week, we saw Will of Ionia cut from just about every Karma Ezreal deck. Maybe it was played as a one-of. Molotov breaking it back out as a one-of. Godhawk has decided to bring out 2 copies of that card. And I'm really curious to see if that's something that's here to stay. I don't think Will of Ionia is super well suited for the meta that we're in. Maybe the rise of Endure Spiders and Deep has made the option a little bit more appealing. The tempo play onto a turn 7 Nautilus is still about as good of a tempo play as you're going to get. But, in this matchup, I don't think it's going to play out super well for either of them.
Yeah, we do see Typical mirror. Both two Eye of the Dragons here that basically are just going to stare each other down in a giant staring contest until something gets done here. It looks like Molotov is considering playing this gotcha here to get rid of the Eye of the Dragon. Not sure if you want to go ahead. I mean, honestly, what else do you do right now?
I don't know why, but I just really liked watching Molotov hover that card and see that its name was Tatango.
Is that what is that in Russian?
I want to say Russian, yeah.
Oh, no way. Hold on. I think I can.
No, this doesn't look Russian. This looks like a Spanish-based language.
I'll tell you in just 1 second. Hold on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Molotov.
Oh no, Molotov.
What flag is that?
I don't know. I don't know my flags, guys. Is that? I'm pretty sure. No, Russian is like the sideways French flag. So,
yeah, Russian is the French flag.
Oh man, Bulgaria maybe.
Is that a guess, or do you have some sort of basis for that?
I mean, the only basis is I knew some Bulgarian people growing up, but I don't think that really sounds...
We can't just start guessing nationalities.
That's not Bulgarian.
That's a slippery
slope. If anybody knows Molotov's flag, let me know. I think it actually does look like a Spanish type of flag, to be honest with you. So we'll... Wait, you know what I can do? Hold on.
The upside down exclamation mark at the start is what indicated to me that it is a Spanish-based language.
Yep, yeah, it's Spanish. Okay. Yep. Sweet. I looked up the flags on the geographical distribution. It's almost like there's a reason they gave it to us.
Yeah.
Oh man. So
well, the Bulgarian flag does have a crest on it, so I guess I'll give you that one.
See? All right, there we go. I'm at least a little close. All right. So we see the gotcha come out on the Eye of the Dragon. And we're going to see a target at least. So, I mean, this is basically just going to be a race, right? It's going to be who can level the Ezreal first, who can get the Karma out with the leveled Ezreal first. And a lot of times that entails people not playing cards to avoid having their stuff targeted. And it doesn't really seem like that's the route they're taking with these Eye of the Dragons hitting the field.
With both of them playing 2 copies of Get Excited, the Karma burn option does open up to them. So typically you're going to see Karma come down first because it's harder to answer. Then if the Karma lives, the Ezreal gets played. We might see the opposite here. We could see Ezreal get played, then answered, then the Karma comes down. Because if you get to untap with Karma, you do have a potential 20 damage between Get Excited and Mystic Shots.
Oh, yeah.
So it's possible that they're playing more for that win condition. Godhawk more so than Molotov, who is using a Get Excited here to get rid of this Karma. That'll probably get denied. And then Molotov doesn't actually have a follow-up.
No. Nothing... Wow, it's all right, but it is interesting. Godhawk, so Godhawk is able to get, it looks like for the time being, it was just Karma to stick. Do you like Godhawk playing the Karma this early?
It's been so long since I've seen a pre-turn 9 Karma.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like the answer is no, though. And it's been a while since we actually saw this deck, but Karma Heimer, you know, sort of the original version of that deck, getting down early Karma was a lot more impactful because no matter what spell you got, it was getting you value. It was going to get you a turret. In Karma Ezreal, I never really liked the early Karmas as much. I feel like the spells that they give you aren't going to be super impactful because there are a lot of bad cards this could have gotten you, like counterfeit copies, you know, Puff Cap, Health Potion. So Godhawk, I guess, has developed the Karma Ezreal much earlier than Molotov will. But without either of those champions being leveled, this is nowhere near as scary.
It's not scary at all. It's like, oh hey guys, like what's up? What are you doing? Just chilling there.
It's like you told them that the party was at 10. Karma showed up at 7, and it's like, oh, I haven't even gotten dressed. I haven't showered yet. I wasn't expecting people for a few more hours.
Go sit on the couch. You're waiting.
And then at 8, Ezreal shows up. And it's like, okay, you guys are, you know, so fun to be around at 10. But it's 8 p.m. right now.
We're not trying to pregame this early.
And I was going to take a nap. I still had a movie on. Like 8:45 is when I was going to start getting the chips out and stuff. I haven't even gone to the store to get mixers
And they
yet.
can't even help you with anything right now.
Yeah, look at them. They're just standing there useless.
They just stand there. They don't help you prep for the party. They don't help you clean or nothing. They just chill. And
they stuck a fork in your electrical socket. Like, thanks, I guess. I wasn't really. That's not anything.
Okay, and Godhawk is attacking with both of them.
Godhawk's gone full aggro.
Does Godhawk, did he queue up the wrong deck? Does he think?
Godhawk said, I don't care how you're supposed to play this matchup. Let me show you how it's done. My champions are going to get in there. And now we see the stun onto the Karma that's actually going to, prevent the damage that would be pushed onto it by this Eye of the Dragon. And this actually works out really well for Godhawk.
I'm actually loving, for the first time in a very long time, a Karma as mirror match right now. We are not looking at a Karma as mirror match. We're looking at an aggro deck versus a control deck right now. And I love to see it. I got to say.
This is working out a lot better than I expected.
Yeah.
8 o'clock rolls around, Ezreal and Karma are here just sitting on your couch awkwardly. And I guess by 8:30, you're like, does anyone want to do shots? And they just bust out a bottle and start pouring.
They had the Jack in their back pocket the whole time. And you know what I think this was? I was thinking about this earlier. Maybe, and there was the other Static Shock that came out from Molotov.
Yeah.
I think Godhawk was just putting Molotov's hand on not having a lot of removal and just mainly having stuns. And
using the Get Excited on the Karma does sort of indicate that. If you had a gotcha, you would have preferred to use that. Mm-hmm. So protecting that one Karma says, okay, you don't actually have 3 damage removal spells. And I'm curious to see if Molotov is now going to try and respond with a Karma Ezreal of his own.
I mean, at this point, I see your Karma Ez, I raise you my own Karma Ez on the turn they're supposed to come out, which...
I mean, it's 9 o'clock, it's almost party time, but Godhawks have been pre-gaming.
Yeah, they're already halfway in the bag, so I think Godhawk's got the advantage there as far as having fun is concerned. That's for sure. I don't see why you don't play the Karma here from Molotov, or at least try to. I mean, you don't have a way to deal with the. Okay, all right. Just as I say that, so this is one way to deal with it without getting your own Karma down. But I don't think you feel that great about Will of Ionia this Karma right now.
Especially because it heavily indicates to Godhawk that you still don't have an answer for it. Godhawk can just replay this Karma.
Oh, yeah. And what do we know what this Ezreal is at on the side of Godhawk?
I don't know, but I don't think it matters. As we're about to get into a leveled Karma turn, every target is going to be sort of doubled.
Oh, man. This is... whew.
It's actually... I cannot express how well this is working out for Godhawk, that he was able to develop the really early Karma and sort of be able to hang on to that. Because once you get to turn 9 and turn 10, that's where mana gets really tight for these players. I don't like rummaging the turn before our Karma upgrades, but you know what? She's been chilling for a while. She can kind of do what she wants.
Okay, that rummage strikes me as really odd, and... okay.
I guess we're just not... Okay, I'm okay with this. Maybe thinking that Molotov has picked up something like a gotcha, but he wants to Will of Ionia to make me recommit the mana before he can actually gotcha it. Just to kind of play the Will of Ionia mana efficiently, which is about as good as you're going to get in a matchup like this. But with Godhawk having the first priority sequence next turn, he goes, okay, you know what? You can just put the Karma back in my hand. I'll just play her again next turn when she's actually upgraded. These randomly created spells aren't doing me a whole lot.
Yeah, and it's, again, like you're saying, his plan does seem to be working out for him so far. I think a lot of the reason we're seeing much of the plays that Godhawk is making here is due to him having some sort of read on Molotov's hand. Otherwise, these would seem pretty odd. The rummage into a Static Shock. He does get a deny out from Molotov, and then another Static Shock comes down. Such an interesting interaction. I gotta say, too, I do like that because... the Static Shock gets 2 more targets on the Ezreal, and now he will have a turn 10 Karma, and I think that's probably what he was going for here, is he can drop the Karma, and I think maybe this turn get this Ezreal leveled. I'm just not sure where it's at right now.
If my eyes do not deceive me, that's a 3 out of 8.
No way, really?
It would make sense. Wow. Godhawk has really been on the Karma Ezreal plan
8.
so far this game. He hasn't actually been targeting much. Molotov has been playing sort of the more conservative, more standard route of I'm not going to put any units on board. And Godhawk said, you're boring. It's party time, baby.
Yeah, and I mean, we're probably... I don't see why we don't see the Mystic Shot come down on this Ezreal. Yep, it looks like he's thinking about it. I don't know if Godhawk's going to have a way to really save this Ezreal. A deny would feel bad. He's not playing anything like a Twin Disciples or anything like that, so...
I don't think Godhawk really cares that much if this Ezreal dies.
No, I don't think so either. This is the first one. It feels like it's been on the board forever. That is only one Ezreal, right?
Yeah, it's only gotten 1 Mystic Shot off, and that's where the first target came from before we got out onto that 3 out of 8. So now the Karma is going to come down for Molotov. Godhawk can respond with their own Karma, and I was wondering if the Mystic Shot was actually going to get saved to kill Godhawk's Karma instead of the Ezreal, but... understandable that you don't want to give your opponent that Mystic Shot. Otherwise, I get my free Mystic Shot. you don't play anything. I play my karma. You play your karma. We just kill each other with mystic shots. But not going to be the case. Molotov, though, despite Godhawk's best efforts, Molotov is the first one to get Ezreal and karma down at party time.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, the only thing that Godhawk has as an advantage right now is that Molotov is at 13. He has to do far less damage. So, with that said,
he is going to get to untap with a karma, and he is playing the amount of burn you would need to kill your opponent.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was just going to say. So I think something that most people forget is that you do not need to win with Ezreal karma. You can just win with karma. You know, if you have 2 Get Excited or 3 Mystic Shot or whatever combination of those in hand, that is a lot of damage to your opponent's face. And, okay, so I don't... He could still be going that route, though. Even though he's targeting the Ezreal here, he's obviously, you know, he gets rid of the Ezreal, which is pretty big. So he might even have more damage and more removal in his hand to go face sometime soon. Ooh, and the... Wow!
So this is actually going to put Godhawk's Ezreal at 7 out of 8.
Yeah, wow.
That's the power of karma, and that's why I don't really necessarily want to say that conserving your units is the way to go, because once karma comes down, it's really easy for me to just auto-upgrade that Ezreal.
Yeah, you know, something like Static Shock getting... That, like
half my Ezreal level.
Like 4 targets and just 1 card is absolutely nuts. I mean, now what's funny is Molotov has another karma in Ezreal in hand. So all that work, we see another karma in Ezreal. Godhawk, I gotta put Godhawk on having an Ezreal in hand already, and it's probably mainly to the right of his hand. I feel like he's had it in there for a while. Otherwise, he wouldn't have played that first Ezreal so aggressively.
I don't think you throw down an aggressive karma in Ezreal unless you have double karma Ezreal, and Molotov maybe is going to have to reconsider how he plays this deck, because he also had 2 karma and 2 Ezreal and feels severely disadvantaged because Godhawk got his down so much earlier.
Yep, and there we see the Ezreal come out, and we were just talking about this. I think it's 1 away from leveling now, and now we get to see if Molotov can get rid of it, and I don't think he can. You know, putting this karma down, he can't play any more spells. He doesn't have any straight-up removal for it, and we're going into a turn where Godhawk is starting with full mana, 1 target away from the Ezreal leveling, and can open attack with the Ezreal if he decides he wants to. That is... I think you go for the open attack here, right?
With 7 mana floated last turn, I would assume that means you want to go for the open attack. We're going to see a rummage to start things off. That's fine. You can still go for an open attack after the fact. But if you had anything else to try and level the Ezreal, I would assume you would have tried to play that on your opponent's turn.
Yeah, and I was... Alright, but that rummage, though, do you not want to open attack with the Ezreal first to maybe get a target with the Ezreal before you play that rummage to get some procs with it, or...?
I don't think it matters too much. I mean, maybe... I'm not sure what he was looking for, but I guess he found this chump wump that he was looking to play pre-combat. And I think Godhawk has actually played this mirror beautifully, understanding that at the end of the day, there's not a lot of removal in the Karma Ezreal deck. It's mostly stun effects at this point.
Yeah.
So I understand wanting to develop the board a little bit more instead of just going for an open attack. You know, you've sort of said, okay, you don't have the removal. You did that by playing your Karma and Ezreal so early. Now you have to worry about the stun effects, and that is the one punish that you have for the open attack. So I actually do like going for this development a little bit more.
Yeah, and, you know, I gotta say, it's refreshing to see somebody play this matchup like this, as opposed to the alternate way, which we were talking about earlier, which is nobody plays a single damn thing the entire game. I do...
Especially having it work out for him as well as it has.
And I think, I still, to this day, I have always thought this, when you have a mirror match, a control mirror match like this, especially Karma Ez, I think you always have to be the aggressor in order to win. Playing slow, you can't play slower than the control deck that's trying to play slow. You need to play faster, and I think that's what Godhawk's been doing most of this game, and I think it's paid off beautifully.
Molotov now gets down his own Karma, but with just Static Shock and Concussive Palm as sort of the main spells for him, I don't think he's going to be able to get it done.
No, I think that's game. I think Godhawk might actually have game in hand right now.
Yeah, Molotov has to use the Concussive Palm on the Ezreal to not get Mystic Shotted, because Godhawk still has the attack token, so Molotov's turn is basically cut and dry here. There is an 8 damage Mystic Shot coming out. That is Ezreal's Mystic Shot, if I read that correctly.
Yep.
Going to see Static Shock as the response, and that is actually just a concession out of Molotov, as that Ezreal can still attack you in the face and get another Mystic Shot now.
Well, plus he's got the 2. He's got 2 Mushroom Clouds in hand. I mean, he has more than enough damage to go ahead and take care of Molotov. And yes, thank you, everybody. Everybody watching, please take note. Please take note, if you are ever in a Karma Ezreal mirror match, play aggressive. Play as aggressive as humanly possible. You will definitely give yourself a better chance of winning the game. And we see here that is exactly what has happened, putting Godhawk up 1-0 versus
Look
Molotov.
at that Mina Swiftfoot coming in at the last second. You're late.
You're
The party started at 10 and it's midnight.
Yeah, this party started a long time ago, Mina. You gotta get your shit together, girl. Oh man, so yeah, 1-0. Molotov on top right now.
I like that. I liked that a lot.
What?
Just that match in general.
Oh, that was great.
I mean, we sat here and we were joking. Oh, it's another Karma Ezreal mirror. How many times can we possibly cast this? That was something, man. I am impressed.
No, that was great. That was absolutely great. I've never in my life actually been like entertained. I think. All right, no, I shouldn't say never. When the deck first became a thing, it was entertaining. It got old real fast. So in a solid 3 or 4 months, I don't think I've been entertained by a Karma Ezreal mirror match, and that match was entertaining.
Are there any decks where even after a month or 2 months of casting them, you're still just like, yeah, I love casting this deck. I'll never get tired of this.
Oh, ooh.
Or does everything kind of get old after a couple of weeks?
No, I'd say TF Ezreal is a good one. Like no matter how long that deck, like TF in general is just like a fun card to cast. I think because you're always like, is he gonna level? Is the TF gonna level? If he levels, is that just game because TF's broken when he's leveled? Like it's just a fun deck in general. I do think that a lot of the Riptide Rex, like as much as Riptide Rex is pretty prevalent. And like in something like TF Ezreal or some of the Sejuani mid-range decks and stuff like that, that doesn't get boring. And even as much as I hate and I like mid-range Frostbite, if that makes sense. I hate that I see it all the time because I like innovation. But as a overall deck for the game, I think it's a good deck. I don't think it's bad that it's consistent. I think it's just it's still fun to cast. Like, now Karma Ezreal on the other hand. Yeah, like it's a good deck and it's fun at first, but then
because it incentivizes so much passing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of the things that's really hard about just casting Legends of Runeterra is control matchups where just there's so much passing involved.
Yeah, passing. Nobody likes passing,
especially when we don't have both hands.
Yeah. You're like, why didn't you play that? You could have played. You just ate 10 mana. Why didn't you play Ruination? What's wrong with you? Yeah, trust me, I know.
So speaking of playing Ruination, Godhawk is actually playing a very standard, very old school deep deck. No copies of Mist's Call or Fading Memories coming out here. It does have 2 Ruination of Vengeance. We see the Atrocity that is coming out in a lot of these decks. 2 Grasp, 2 Whale. Not really something that we're seeing out of the tournament
3 Grasp
versions of this deck.
3 Grasp.
3 Grasp.
Yeah.
Oh, 3 Grasp, 2 Whale. Oh, I didn't see that correctly. Yeah, that's an adaptation that I feel like we see a lot more on ladder, but I don't really like. So Endure Spiders is back. So I like Whale a little bit more, but not a lot more.
Okay. I mean, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I don't think Withering Whale's that great against Endure Spiders. I think something like Reckoning is good against Endure Spiders. I don't think Withering Whale
it's good against Bladed Caretaker. It's good versus Bladed Caretaker, and it's bad versus Curse Keeper. But typically, if your opponent has a Curse Keeper, that's what they're killing with the Bladed Caretaker. So your Whale feels even better. But I don't know that like Deep is the kind of deck where I really care about that.
If you do you care about Bladed Caretaker? Is what you're saying with Deep?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're too worried about it. Because a lot of your small units will just trade, and something like a Dead Bloom will just end up, healing you back up anyways from some of the damage you could have taken. And generally speaking, as a Deep deck, you're just going to want to trade the Atrocities. Like, that's kind of what you have to prepare for towards the end of the game. Either you hit Deep and you run down your opponent, or they get Atrocity, they who endure first, and you just have to hope that you have an Atrocity on a Nautilus to kind of combat that. But that's not the matchup that we have right now. We have Karma Ezreal once again on the side of Molotov versus the deep deck of Godhawk, and we do see a pretty good start for Godhawk, getting the Thorny Toad down and getting the Dreadbloom Wanderer down. Sorry, Deadbloom. Somebody else said Dreadbloom, and now I always get confused whenever I say Deadbloom Wanderer. Oh, man.
I think it was one of our first casts together. You told me that you hated it, that everybody calls it Dreadbloom,
Yep.
and I don't think I've ever called it that since. That's kind of how I became aware that its name was Deadbloom.
Yep.
And we saw this matchup a little bit earlier, and that did go the way of the deep deck, right? The leveled Maokai did end up taking that one.
Yes, yep, yeah.
Because it was Vilux. Oh, no, yeah, that was Vilux, not Karma Ezreal. Yep. So we will have to... I think it plays out in a similar manner, though, where the Karma Ezreal is favored unless Maokai comes out.
Yeah, is that just, like, this deck in a nutshell? Like, is this deck just, like, not that great unless Maokai? Like...
I mean, Deep has... Similar to Nab, it has a lot of win conditions that it can play to. And I think that's why we see so many players bringing it, as well as, you know, when Nab first came out, it was very popular because it's, okay, do I want to play to the aggro win con? Is this a matchup where Riptide Rex is my most impactful card? Is leveled Sejuani how I'm going to try and navigate this one? And Deep kind of goes a similar route. Do I want to go wide with some of these early units, use Maokai to control the board? Do I want to save my Maokais for that win condition? Or am I playing for a turn 7 Nautilus?
Well, and something I want to note here, too, like, we see a lot of people playing Deep all of a sudden. And I think you mentioned it earlier where, like, you're not seeing Bannerman in the lineup because of it, essentially. I don't... Like, Bannerman's one of the decks that would destroy Deep usually, like, early, depending on what version you're playing. Like, if you're playing a Lucian Misfortune or something like that. And that's, I guess, one of the reasons why I don't really think Deep deserves as much credit as it gets. Because turns 1 through 6 or 7... there's such a very minimal amount of things that the Deep deck can do. Like, it has the same plays. It's always going to do the same things. There's, like, 10 different cards that you should expect in those first 6 or 7 turns. And then you either put yourself in a position to win the game, or they just win because they get a Nautilus down early and you can't do anything. So we'll see if that's the case here. I mean, we're already on turn 7. Godhawk is not Deep. But with Karma Ezreal, they have their own little late-game win strategy here. And honestly, with Godhawk not being Deep yet on turn 8, I gotta say Molotov is in the driver's seat right now.
Molotov's left this Maokai alive for quite some time, though.
Yeah.
And that does really help Godhawk accelerate to the Deep. It is possible that even if he's got the jettisons, he's sort of saving them for the Maokai level at the last second. But Abyssal Eye is a big card in this matchup. You know, the stun effect is going to come out of Molotov to stop that one, and that is one of the reasons that I think Karma Ezreal is currently favored. These stun effects play out very well into decks like these. But you can't leave Maokai around. Godhawk, though, has shown a very clear willingness to risk it all in the face of the lack of removal that the Karma Ezreal probably has. He says, you know, you've got Mystic Shot, Get Excited, Gotcha, Thermo Beam. That's all you've got. You know, I'm putting you on no gotchas. If you want to get excited, be my guest. I'll take that free card out of your hand. I want your stun effects to be as prevalent as possible. You need to use them as aggressively as possible because you don't have the removal. You're probably hanging on to Karmas and Ezreals in a matchup like this. So, yeah, you know, just Godhawk recognizing that there are a fair amount of dead cards in the deck, throws the Maokai down early with no fear and just kind of runs with it. Yeah,
and it's funny, too, because, I mean, you're right. He hasn't dealt with the Maokai, so I'm kind of left here thinking, like, how the hell is Godhawk not Deep yet? Like, this Maokai has been chilling. We're on turn 8, still not Deep. We might get there, like, next turn. He's got to be on, like, 16. There's no way, like, if he doesn't get there on this draw. Wow, okay, that's just, like, I don't understand how he's still not Deep yet. Maybe that's why Molotov isn't concerned about it, but if this Maokai does level and he doesn't have a way to get rid of it, yeah, like, as usual, bye-bye, Ezreal. You don't have well, you still technically have a win condition in Karma, but it won't be Ezreal, that's for sure.
So now we're going to see, I always feel so weird about turn 9 rummages when you have Karma in hand.
I've seen, okay, dude, all right, I agree. Like, we've just seen this, like, what, 3 times already? And why? Like,
I understand it a little bit more in this matchup because there is always that potential for Godhawk to surprise level the Maokai and then your rummage is basically useless.
Yeah.
But I don't know why we started off with rummage instead of deep med.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's more worried about drawing the Ezreal because deep med... Oh, actually...
So this makes sense. If you are going to play the Karma this turn, then the deep med would have been too big of a mana commitment for you to actually stop the Grasp of the Undying. How is Godhawk not deep yet?
Dude, if he doesn't go deep this turn, I don't know, man. I don't get it.
You better have, like, Jettison or something, too.
It's not even that. Like, how do you actually... Don't you just draw enough cards to go deep by turn 10? Like you don't even... All right, there it is. Hey, turn 10 deep. We made it, boys. All right, and here's the Mina. So... Mina might come in huge here in the next couple of turns or so. I mean, bouncing, like, the Abyssal Eye back, the Nautilus back, like, that's
I feel like Mina sucks in this matchup.
You don't like it?
Because not at all. So we actually saw this exact play earlier where Mina put back Nautilus, Abyssal Eye, and Devourer of the Depths. And I can just, like, on 8 mana, I can replay Nautilus and Abyssal Eye, and then I have Devourer again. Like, I feel like that is not a good trade for the Mina player.
Okay. I just got scared a little bit, too, because he Mystic Shot it. I'm like, no, he's only at 5. But wait, never mind. So this does actually save the Karma.
Protect the Karma, yeah.
And, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. We didn't see it work out before. But... oh, well, can't do anything about that.
That is unfortunate.
That is.
I mean, you could deep med and try to hit a deny. There are 2 deny in Molotov's deck. Let me check on that.
I mean, you might as well. This Maokai's gonna level, right?
There are 2 denies.
This Maokai's gonna level. So, do you just draw a crap ton to try to get? Or well, so those are all spells. Like, this is why. So this is exactly why I don't like that Rummage. I think that Rummage, you would have always wanted to play it after you play the Deep Meditation to give yourself a higher probability of drawing the Ezreal, right? Like, now he's going to be at a point where he has all this draw in his hand, but it literally does nothing for him.
I don't know. Because, like, Molotov didn't draw anything impactful off of that Rummage, right? If I remember correctly, it was this Mystic Shot
suit up, I think. No. What, suit up? Jesus.
That was randomly created by Karma.
Yeah. It was a Deep Med and Chump.
So, like, is there ever consideration to just go for the Karma without rummaging and save that for next? Like, I'm not totally sure why we went for that Rummage when we did. Yeah. When you are just 1 turn away from doubling the value of it, now we're going to see Mina get a little bit of value, as it does put back all of these units. Once Godhawk is below the mana threshold and doesn't actually get to attack anything, and the Ezreal is going to level, but you still have to find Ezreal. Oh, we got oh, it's just a Vile Feast? That's not what I expected.
I will say, I mean, was it Godhawk? Was Godhawk the one earlier that we were like, why the heck is he making those plays?
That was Molotov.
Oh, no, that was Molotov. Okay, never mind. I was just going to say, in general, I feel like there's been a lot of weird, different lines of play taken that aren't necessarily, I mean, after the fact, we can see they're not necessarily wrong, but at the time of them being made, we're just like, huh? What's happening?
So one thing that does actually open up as sort of a win condition that we don't talk about a lot, that doesn't happen very often, in this specific instance, is even if Godhawk gets off the Maokai level, because he's at 17 out of 25, it's probably going to take a couple of toss effects to get that done. If your opponent falls down to something like 7 or 8 cards in deck, if you go Chump Wump, Karma, Double Shroom, that's 20 Shrooms in your opponent's 8-card deck. You have a pretty good shot at burning them out with that. Yeah,
and I feel like that actually comes into play more nowadays in a lot of tournaments that you and I have casted. Getting your opponent down to like 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, and all of a sudden 20 Shrooms on 2 cards. You might just die.
I think it was last week we saw one player with 2 cards in deck, and then one shuffled in 10 Shrooms that just immediately got drawn.
Yep. All 10 went on 1 card, I think. So yeah. Like, the less cards your opponent's deck, the more impactful Shrooms are. And yeah, I mean, I agree. That might be something that we see here. Do we know what his deck count is at? What does that say? 10? 11?
10 sounds correct,
11.
as we did get 11? Okay, yeah.
Why are they gonna do that? Why are they gonna hover and then like go? Why can't you just keep it for a second?
Spectator mode.
Yeah. God, we haven't beat that dead horse or anything.
Not yet.
All right, so we do see, again, something similar. The Devourer coming down again, having to get excited to get rid of this bad boy from the field. And I don't know.
This is why I don't like Mina. Like I understand Minaing the Nautilus and the Abyssal Eye.
Yeah.
The Devourer, like, why would you give your opponent another instance of Devourer?
No, I agree.
That's a lot of damage that you missed on face.
I agree 100%. He just had to use 2 Mystic Shot, or well, technically 1 Mystic Shot, 1 Get Excited, but doubled up with the Karma. Yeah, it just feels really bad. I don't really know what he goes for a win condition here if he doesn't hit the Ezreal. I know you mentioned the Shrooms. Okay, so all right, there's some more tossed. Okay, so now he has to go for the Shrooms. So now what is he at? 9 cards in deck? Or 8 after the draw? So we just have to hope that the Shrooms kill him. This is the new game plan. Shroom or bust.
And these deep meds are now just useless. Unusable cards in your deck. If you play 1, there's a chance you deck out right here, right now.
And that's exactly why I think the deep meds should have been used before the Rummage, but nope. No go on that. So we're going to get 20 Shrooms shuffled into, what, 9 cards, 8 cards?
Yeah. If Godhawk goes for the attack and Molotov just lets it go, you could even be less, but we're just saying maybe I have units in my deck.
What? Okay, wait. Is he like 10-headed?
2 units in deck.
Okay, wait. Is he 10-headed though? Did he know what spells were left in his deck, and this is why he made the decision?
How would he know that?
Well, at that point,
Maokai randomly assigns it.
Well, no, because you can see what's burned when Maokai mills the deck, right?
Oh, right.
So I'm saying, all right. So he played that knowing he only had 2 spells left, and they were both burn spells.
I didn't see him look at the sidebar for that long to sort of memorize what 20 cards got tossed away by Maokai.
So now what this does, it means 20 shrooms are going to go in. Oh, no. You don't do that, do you? Do you save the karma and try to go for the double mystic shot? Like, is there something Godhawk can have to kill the karma here with 8 mana?
So with only... Well, there's Vengeance, there's Atrocity. There's a couple of things that Godhawk could actually have. I haven't paid attention. I haven't done a great job of paying attention to what was tossed to this game. But I do think you need to save the karma. Because you only had 4 mana left, you could put in the shrooms and maybe Mystic Shot your opponent's face, but I think it is a little better to get that unit off board, you know, play your shrooms, double get excited the face, as it does represent that little bit extra damage that you would need. And I think there's another Chump Wump in deck.
Oh, wait, this actually only puts 1... Wait, it shuffles 2 treasures in, right? Okay, so it's even, doesn't matter.
With 2 cards left in deck after the deep med, I would assume there's a Chump Wump left.
That's not the Chump Wump, though. He'll have the Chump Wump next turn, but I imagine Godhawk would open attack at that point.
Yeah, and I don't think you're surviving that. You do have the Get Excited and Will of Ionia to kill both, or rather deal with both Abyssal Eye, but things get a little bit dicey here.
So let's see.
Oh wait, it doesn't matter. So if your last card is Chump Wump, you draw it, you play it, you play 40 shrooms.
You lose before, you lose before the draw.
Your opponent would have to draw all 20 shrooms, maybe for it to be a draw, but you might still lose first because you decked out.
So there's 20 shrooms going on 5 cards, and his opponent's going to be at 14. There's actually a okay probability. Not a good probability.
I wouldn't call it an okay probability.
No, I'd say, all right, does anybody in chat, do they know, can you guys figure out the statistics on that draw? 5 cards, so the probability that 14 shrooms go on 5, or 1 card on the 5.
I'm never going to Vegas with you. You're going to be like, oh, you have an okay probability to win this. Just put 10,000 on black.
Yeah, it's like 50-50, right?
I don't know how slots
work. It's either black or red, right?
Works. I don't actually know, like... I don't know what the bonus is for like picking the number that it's gonna be.
Actually, it doesn't matter. I didn't even actually see what was
hold on.
played. But
Godhawk could throw.
Oh wait, what? Wait, did he just toss?
No. So check this. You attack to ensure an Abyssal Eye hits first, and that means you draw another card before Molotov actually dies.
Wait.
And you could draw 11 shrooms off of this Abyssal Eye hit.
Oh, dude, if that's how he wins, that's pretty nuts.
Could you imagine? I don't think that's going to happen, though. But
I'm glad that Molotov didn't forfeit like he was just thinking about doing with that. So here we go. I actually kind of want this to happen because this would be absolutely insane. All right, what do we get here? How many shrooms?
Godhawk deserves the 2-0, but let me see it. What do you got?
Oh, wait. So, all right. I'm curious, though. I want to know for the future.
I don't think it would matter. I don't think the second one could kill him.
No. So, all right, first attack goes through, you draw a card.
Yeah.
Does the second attack go through and get you the win before the shrooms calculate?
I want to say yes.
Because the way that animation looked, it's a yes. Right?
I want to say yes. I mean, as cool as it would have been to see Molotov win with the shroom there, Godhawk, I feel like definitely deserves a 2-0.
Oh yeah, no, he the way that he like played those games and maneuvered his way around some of those turns, especially in the Karma mirror match that we actually liked watching for once. So hat is off to you, my friend, good sir. All right, guys, and that is it. Congratulations to Godhawk advancing to the finals here in the 7th qualifier tournament. So pretty awesome to see, again, a new face in the semifinals. As always, guys, if you're new to the channel, do not forget to subscribe. We got tons of Legends of Runeterra content all the time, week in and week out, and any info you're going to need on the tournament is going to be in the description below. So info on just when the grand finals is going to be, so you guys can tune into myself and Boulevard casting that event, as well as all of the deck lists will be in the description below as well. So cannot wait for that grand finals. Hope to see everybody there. And as always, everybody stay healthy, stay positive. I hope shit just works for you. And peace out.